Dan Illman, Matt Bernie are taking a look at race number 8 at Santa Anita on Sunday. It's the feature race on the program, and it's a 100-grander. The Spring Fever Stakes for Cal-bred fillies and mares going 6 furlongs. Nice card at Santa Anita on Sunday. You can bet it with a DRF Bets account. When you sign up at bets.drf.com, you get to double your action. You bet 100, you get 100. Let's meet the 5 fillies and mares getting set to go in the Spring Fever Stakes. The one Show It and Mow It, Matt's going to be of the likely and deserving favorite. Heck, she just beat 3 of these common foes last month on January the 10th, and she looked pretty good doing it, pressing the pace while widest, taking over into the lane, and then just keep rolling along. This filly is a very, very consistent runner.
Yeah, nice Cal-bred. She just shows up for Gary Sherlock basically each and every time. I find it a little bit interesting that she's 0 for 3 at this 6 furlong distance. It feels like perhaps she's better at slightly longer distances. I don't think she's incapable of winning a race like this, though. And the other thing to keep in mind, you brought it up. She handled a number of common foes in that run most recently. And SY Sky, who is likely her main sort of competition in here, all she did was come back and win next out on the turf going down the hill. So, the form of that race is held up. If you think that she retains the form that she did when she earned that 87 most recently, I mean, she's strictly one of the horses to beat.
Let's throw up the Timeform US Pace projector, because they have Show It and Mow It sitting in 3rd in this 5-horse field, and she could easily win from 3rd. Let's be perfectly honest about that. But the way she was ridden last time out and breaking from the inside post, don't you feel that Rafael Bejarano is going to be at least a little bit more aggressive? I'm not saying go all out for the lead, but be close to it.
The only thing I would say is when you look at it, I think in a short field like this, you got to look at it a little bit from a rider's standpoint. If you're SY Sky, who you think is probably your main competition, and you're Joe Talamo, the rider, if you believe that pace projector, why would I not box Show It and Mow It in for as long as possible, in behind Coco Kisses? I'm going to get the jump on her and then say, come and catch me. If I'm Bejarano, you got to use a little bit anyway. Establish that position inside. Like you say, I'm not saying go hammer and tong. Don't go out there just a crazy duel on the front end. But at the same time, break, establish some position, and look, you're the horse to beat in here. Say, come and catch me if you want to win this thing.
SY Sky is a win machine. She's won 5 of 9. It's a shame that it's taken a lot for Phil D'Amato just to keep this mare healthy. She's perfect on the turf. She might be slightly better on that surface, but she's obviously done good things on the main track as well. And if you believe this pace projector, she's sitting off the long shot, getting the jump on the one that she has to beat. SY Sky, 6 furlongs, not going to be a problem for her at all.
No, the distance isn't an issue. I think she's talented. It's unfortunate, like you said, that she has had some pretty significant injuries throughout her career. I happen to believe she is actually substantially better on turf. The figures may not necessarily back that up, but she's 2 for 2 going down the hill, and I just think that that's really what her game is. The interesting thing here is we talk about it with these short fields. Sometimes trips can sort of come out of nowhere in a short field. It does make me wonder, we're looking at it this way. The pace projector is looking at it. The riders and connections are looking at this pace. I mean, is there a scenario where the first 3, they all just line up on the front end and then it falls into Barbara Beatrice's lap? I mean, I love Barbara Beatrice on the main track, but look, she could trip out if those 3 do end up throwing it down.
And that's what fans of Barbara Beatrice are hoping for, because we wonder if SY Sky is better on turf. It certainly appears Barbara Beatrice is better on the turf. She's won 1/3 of her turf starts. She's only 1 for 9 on the main track, and I've been disappointed with her recent dirt runs, going all the way back to the Irish O'Brien last year, where she was just under the whip early and really didn't fire. And the same thing happened back when in behind Show It and Mow It. It just seemed like she was one-paced. She's going to need a little bit of help up front, I think, in the form she's in right now.
Well, and I think there's also a real case to be made that you got to question. She's 7 years old now. She lost a little bit on the fastball, even going down the hill. I mean, there's a part of me that does wonder at a certain point it's going to catch up to you. But again, it may not look likely on paper, but if for some reason those first 3, they all just line up and go, this thing could fall into her lap.
Gary Sherlock trains Show It and Mow It. He entered the 5 Intorissa, a 14-time maiden, just to make this field go. And while Intorissa ran just fine last time out going down the hill, listen, she's probably a better turf horse as well, and she's already kind of exposed after 10 lifetime dirt starts. She's hard to like even in only a 5-horse field.
Yeah, not much really to point to her, but again, from a connection standpoint, take her back, make one run, maybe you can hit the board in here and get a stakes placing.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Spring Fever Stakes. I agree with you that Show It and Mow It is the most likely winner and the horse to beat. I'm hoping Time Form US is right, or I'm hoping that Show It and Mow It and SY Sky are so concerned about each other that Coco Kisses is able to maybe sneak away on the turn. She is slow on paper, and she finished behind Show It and Mow It and SY Sky in that race on January the 10th. My opinion that day at Santa Anita was the rail wasn't very good. And SY Sky was dueling on the inside throughout, and she really didn't finish all that badly and actually galloped out pretty well after the fact. I'm hoping they leave her alone. I like her cutting back to 6 furlongs. I agree she's not a likely winner, but I'm going 2-1.
You know, I mean, looking at the end of the day, she's paired up by her tops. There's no reason to think that she may not be going in the right direction. And really, the only job for Rosario here is, I think, you just go. You break, you go, and you say, we're going to let this thing go for as long as we can and hope that there is a little bit of a game of chicken between the other two, the big horses, and maybe you do scoot away. We've seen it at Santa Anita. If you can get out there, there are worse places to be than on the lead on the main track at Santa Anita. Go on with it and say, come and catch me.
And Show It and Mow It, your top selection, but I have a feeling this is the kind of race you'll be watching with interest for down the road.
Yeah, I don't really see much in here that would get me interested in betting it, and because it is one of those difficult things. I think Show It and Mow It's going to win. I think she's the most likely winner. If all of a sudden she's 3-1 on the board, I go, there's something's wrong. I'm not touching her with a 10-foot pole. I went 1-3 in here. Again, it's Captain Obvious, but I just think it's chalky.
1-3 for Matt, 2-1-3 for me in the $100,000 Spring Fever at the Great Race Place. It's a card you can bet with a DRF Bets account. Easy sign up at bets.drf.com. DRF Bets. Ready, set, bet. Approximate post time for the Spring Fever Stakes on Sunday, 4:30 Pacific. Good luck.